I thought you were in Texas. Is it snowing?
Oh, no, I'm on Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm on Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Then Augusto, I believe, will be joining us on the talk today. He's based in Brazil, north of Brazil. And I think it's just the two of us, right? Talking with you today.
Okay, yeah. So basically, yeah, I think Augusto is the other one, right?
Yeah, Augusto, exactly.
Yeah.
But while he connects, I'll say we have only 30 minutes, right? So honestly, let's take the best we can with the time we have, right? I'm not sure if you want to start with kind of a brief introduction, and then I can jump in as well and talk a little bit about the adventures we're doing.
Yes, definitely coming. So, do you want to wait for Augusto or just continue?
I'll say let's start.
Okay.
It's up to you. But as we have only 30 minutes, I know that Augusto will not be in any way sad if we start and take the best use we can, right? With the 30 minutes we have.
Okay, sure, definitely. So my roles and responsibilities. So basically, I was working as a C++ developer and a Unix developer in my previous projects. So as a software developer, designing various kinds of C++ software, and also working on Unix 10 Solaris system. I was also working with setting up some claims engine and developing various applications. So the current application which I'm working on is Medicaid. So it's a state of Kentucky, something like that. Apart from that, I'm also responsible for handling various C++ uh, environment, something like that. I was also responsible for getting the service enterprise environment, so using HP Unix systems and creating reports. Also responsible for writing the unit test cases and trying to handle the entire system from the scratch inside the application. And apart from that, I was also responsible for handling and converting the raw pointers to smart pointers and modifying most of the legacy code. And I was also working using C++ data developer, and say means I've been working with a team of almost like 5 developers initially. So they got split into means this is something which I've worked my experience with HP Inc. So I worked in Fort Collins location at HP. So basically, I worked there almost for 2.5 years. So during my um, during that time actually, so I worked on system configuration application and also recipe compliance, one of the applications which they want actually. So we already have a tool called system configuration which collects all the information regarding hardware and everything. So so basically I handle a lot of things. So it's like what do you say? So recipe compliance is the feature which they want to develop actually. So that feature allows the subsystems like the component owners. Most of them are working on some kind of stuff like they want to know the hardware which they are installing on the machine. Actually, it's a PCs, right? So I used to work with different component owners like hardware and means Chris, who is responsible for Thunderbolt, I guess, and some of them Terry, which and Ricky, some of them are responsible for operating system. So a lot of things which I worked on during my work at HP, and during those 2.5 years, I completed the recipe compliance feature. So it's initially they thought like it won't take much time actually to complete that. So basically, so once we started working on it, the scope completely got increased actually.
That's HP.
Yeah. No one said that. Okay, that's not the scope, and that's not something actually. But once we start digging into it, like okay, this is what we want actually. We just want a report. We just want an Excel report. That's the initial thought. Like okay, I told okay, that doesn't going to take some lot of time actually. It's like okay, I just need to create some HTML reports. I just need to work on Qt framework and some kind of stuff like that. I was like okay, I'm good with that. So once we started into the discussion, so once we came into that conference rooms, like different component owners came along. Like I remember this. Chris actually, he's the Thunderbolt component owner. So he came and said like, okay, there is OS version and the name of the Thunderbolt. So let's say I am installing two Thunderbolts on my machine. So I want to see the name and the version of that. So can you get that information for me? I was like, yeah, I can do that. And that's what we thought. Like, first 2 weeks means it's sprint. We worked on agile methodology. So it's a 2 week sprint. So I told like, okay, let me go ahead and do this one and come back. And the third week actually we come back to the room and say that, okay, this is what you requested, Chris. So this is good. So, and the other component owners looking at that, oh, you're doing it for Thunderbolt. Why don't you do it for OS also? So why don't you do it for the other
started,
hardware? Yeah, they started building up again. So during this part actually, it's not easy. It's hard because some a lot of things actually it's like means getting information from the hardware is not easy for me because I worked in a different platform earlier, frankly speaking, because I worked on state projects like uh, uh, it's a hard C coding actually. They're using Pro C and something like that, which I'm currently working. But it's my current project, so they have all the code already. So it's like getting a new change orders and applying some patches or applying some new modifications to the existing libraries, whatever they have. They have like claims engine, so they don't want to mess up that one. The process needs to continue, but the thing is they want to make improvements to that based on the requirements what we get from the state, etc. So those are the things I have done earlier, but coming to HP it's completely a different thing for me because I'm not a completely like I don't say that I'm a pro at C++ developer. I'm good at it, something like that. But I'm a developer who I'm enthusiastic to learn new things actually. So that's what my team get. I mean, that's what I gain confidence from the team too because doing some things actually, completing the things on timeline. So that helped me a lot of things actually. So initially I struggled with these things like especially with the pointer stuff. So it's not easy for me initially. So basically there are some sessions from my lead actually. So how do I don't say him as a lead, but I would means it's not like his role is a lead actually in there, but I take him like that because the reason is he used to give me a lot of information like and I feel jealous of them too sometimes because how they are gaining that much knowledge just from 4 or 5 years of experience, how they are gaining that. I feel jealous of them, but what I took from them is like the way they are doing it actually, and the way they are guiding it, and they helped me a lot actually during that time period. And even myself, I proved myself, and I've been working there for almost like 2.5, 3 years, almost like that. So yeah, it was good. So, but
Okay.
it's a good experience working at HP, and I think it's because of the cost cutting stuff and everything. I think it went down. So most of my team got shuffled. Means the contractors got shuffled. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, means
Awesome.
I used to work with. Frankly speaking, I used to work with someone from France actually. So he's in a
Okay.
different time zone, and I'm in a different time zone. He used to send an email. I need to respond to that email the next morning so that we will be in the track. Actually, okay, this is what I'm doing. So you need to do this tomorrow. Let's do this. So that's how we used to do. So it's been a good journey. Yeah.
Okay. No, thanks for sharing. And I saw that Augusto joined, right? Say hey, Augusto.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Hey, Siki.
Hey,
Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you. Sorry, we started early without you.
Yeah, I asked you. That was me, Augusto. I said, oh, let's start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, nice to meet you. So, I also work with Diogo on the team. Maybe low. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, we can.
So, yeah, also your work here. I am a software engineer as well. And we are building like this project is full C++. I don't come from C++. I come more from a data science background. I'm coming up the learning curve here. It's yeah. I think it requires a good amount of C++ learning knowledge, but not only C++. It's also the capacity to discuss and propose right things, and we are looking for people that are being very transparent here, and looking for people that not only receives a task and deliver, but also look to the task and if this is what the best thing we should be doing, and look around what are the other tasks that should be done, right? And have more a big picture view of the thing, and like to discuss that. Of course, we will always have to do something short term, mid term, long term, but we emphasize and like this type of criticism and knowledge. So and we are innovating in HP. I think it's something that we're like pushing forward to a more sustainable devices, wasting less resources from the user, moving away from his from front of him, right? It's basically leaving the resource to the user to do their own job instead of having like very heavy processes consuming memory. And we're totally innovating in HP with this project.
Yeah. So the projects you're working on, are these the existing applications, or are these something new requirements? What you're trying to develop using different technologies apart from C++? How does this means? How are you planning? Means I'm trying to get a glance of what exactly is happening.
So I'll let Diogo tell us a little bit more of that.
Okay.
Okay, sure. So it is a new product for a new hardware line, so a new entry on the HP portfolio. So we are talking about basically from a new product hardware to a new kind of a business strategy, right? Our sales strategy to fit that new hardware, right? And then the software that we're doing to back it up, right? To back the business unit and the business plan to it. So we are talking about a new hardware. We are leveraging a lot of things across HP, right? Even being a new hardware and a new software. There is a bunch of other software HP that already developed or did part of the stuff we want to do. We are not in the business of reinventing the wheel, so we are trying to leverage as best as we can. But the project has been there for a while. The project as a developer, the product is not out yet, right? So it was not released yet. But the project itself has been under development for a few months right now already. We already have quite a bit of a team. We're talking about like around 15 software engineers doing on this full adventure, on this quest, right? Okay. So the state right now is we are very close to the release. Someone joining right now will see that action and a little bit of that craziness of us reach our milestones for our first release, and also that interesting kind of flow or migration from the first release to the door to not only bug fixing, but the next feature cycle, right? Okay. So that is kind of the moment to give you a perspective on that. When it comes to technology, we are all C++ oriented, meaning if we try to use what other groups at HP have created, when we take those code bases across HP, we saw that they were not meeting our bar of optimization, right, or stability, or they were coded with other programming language, some stuff in Python, some stuff in C# we will translate. So our code base right now is 99.9% all C++.
Okay. Yeah, because the thing is, when I was working at HP actually, so the projects which means I was working on is not completely on C++. It was on C and C++, and the libraries which I'm using, they are on C# again. So I need to leverage from of the C# code into C++ again. I need to do a lot of searching. I use Google a lot. I don't want to hide anything here. Because of the this Windows applications, we know there are some WMI things which we need to get. We don't know where that library is coming from. So yeah, lot of stuff, a lot of researching actually. But is it going to be the same kind of situation? Means like a lot of research and development, or like it's like a straightforward feature which we want to develop using?
I see. So as Augusto mentioned, and Augusto can jump in here as well, is as Augusto mentioned, we are trying to we don't want a junior engineer that is more shy on this shell, right? We want to go and talk about the problem and not go and provide a full set of UML, class, sequence, flow diagrams with the full descriptions and links to documentation. No, we really want to talk about the problem, right? So someone that can aggregate value by, we have this challenge, we have this problem. This is our idea, senior architect. We could have something like that. So yes, we may draft something, but we would like to give it open enough and expect the candidate to be able to deep dive and complete. So do the completion of the design per se, right? Plus the implementation, right? So on that sense, there is a bit of research per se, but not that research that may relate to like early on stage prototyping. We are not on that stage anymore, right? So, but we still, for this role here, we are expecting the person to have that agility, right? Of going and looking at it and researching a little bit, bringing their knowledge already to the table, and take a few suggestions on how to solve a problem, and then move forward with it until the finish line.
Okay.
Right, August?
So it's basically like, yeah, you have been having some features, so you have some ways of developing it, but you want to get some more information. Is this the best way, or is there any other best way you can develop it? So you're open for suggestions, means the team is open for suggestions for making a better product, actually, something like that, right? Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure, Augusto, you were going to say something. I want to interrupt you. Okay, so something that caught my attention when you're pitching kind of your professional history here, SK, is you mentioned about unit testing, you mentioned about testing, right? In C++, we all know that testing and unit testing, system test, they all comes with their degree of interesting, right? situations, because there's no reflection, there's not a programming language that can so easily, right? You code anything, and then you have a framework that will allow you to properly test it. You need to tailor it. So I'd love to hear a little bit more on how were you doing unit testing or testing in general in your C++ project?
Yes. So basically, we are learning some basic unit test cases. I mean, it's like just plus validating and functional wise. So C unit test means we use Google test actually, and also use Microsoft unit testing framework for C++, which we have, right? So I use some of those actually. And we were also using Boost test, which is included as a default component in the C++ desktop application development. Most of the stuff, like creating some basic test workflows, and inside that there were we are able to add some specific references to other projects in the solution. So something like that. Mostly. So it was just basic creation to test cases, runtime and versus the runtime environment, and then we while I read them, uh, um, it, then it is just the customized solution and save them. So it was really useful for running them actually, something like that.
Okay. Can you jump in a little bit more in detail? You mentioned about the Google unit test framework, right? Did I got this right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you use Gmock? Did you use parameterized testing? Can you go one level deeper?
Yes. So basically, we were using the Gmock for the simple for C++. We are doing the CMA. We are able to do the object and replace the production code with the mock code. So because we had the virtual functions which we created and the simple functions C++, we had the. So it's like a teamwork, means like specific fake function framework which was used there. So this was used to creating the library X functions. So say that there is a GMO official actual return an argument. Uh, uh, so we are just mocking the private and protected methods as well, using the expedited call for the gate timeout inside that for the virtual timeout data, and also work on the argument. So from there, we are also able to add we add a specific function for the virtual operator and make sure it's a function pointer which will actually call it on top of that on the mock test. So that's how used to do. And the project which I worked on HP, actually they were not concentrating on the unit test because that the feature we have not accommodated that actually. So we have not accommodated testing part actually, but means nobody thought about it. That was the later part which I'm doing.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, so then after you mean right now, right? Not on the previous experience.
Yeah.
I see. And it's still on testing. Any take on then, as you mentioned, if you are mocking, so if you are using Google testing framework, so you usually will have a dedicated project that is testing the real project with your library or your logic. You mentioned about using the mock, but then if you are linking, go ahead.
Sorry. So basically on the SQL testing, we had mocking of some critical functions. So the SQL are able to work on the Google framework, which is actually edited on top of it, right? So we are able to work on it something like unit testing framework for the BigQuery, as well as GTAS SQL. we were also able to use automatic test registration as well as reporting. We have done some testing, filtering, and shuffling incident, and also work on the skill unit test framework for the deliberate for deliverables, something like that. And yeah, we are also installing the Bazel for the maintenance of support and other version of the work, and also it's Zeta SQL actually, and adding load testing for the SQL Server inside that. So we're able to add multiple loads and see how the uh, auto growth limits to a higher values are actually performing. So adding compatibility levels and installing the Hammer DB so that we can actually have a mission configuration, right? For top of that editing standard versus front desk, and yeah, just say that, yeah.
Okay. So you're going both to integration, bottleneck, performance testing, or doing all the full suite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the SQL and with the Hammer you mentioned is just for the reporting of those testings, or the product itself is using SQL flavor?
Yes. So basically, when using to record some of the unit test cases, and said that, yeah. So once these unit test cases were recorded, we are able to add some specific data points and also create customized reports for this enrollment. I'd like to say which I created. There, each of these is going to have created the top of that. We didn't have to worry about kind of customized reporting data. So yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, so on this project, at least we didn't went as fancy with the reporting for the unit test. Mm-hmm. We just do the unit test at least to get the coverage, but then we use Microsoft tooling, Visual Studio, that to measure, right, the Google test coverage with the branching. So that's as far as we go for reporting. Just let me know the coverage, right? And of course, number of unit tests and the passing stat, which you use for gated builds, like PR gated builds and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what we're doing. On that sense. You mentioned about on your C++ experience, something that I got curious is that you mentioned that you ported some old school code to C++. If I got this right, is that correct?
Yeah, there is some legacy code which we need to convert.
Was that C++? Can you kind of go a little bit more on detail, maybe on the spec ISO that you were using on C, and what you migrated on C++? Did you migrate it to 99, 11, 14, 17, 20, maybe your experience there?
Yeah, you got a lot of old school code, which is actually during the C++. An amateur like this means we had to convert that on the data points. I would like to say so. So yesterday they were able to integrate with the C++ data points. I would like to say, which is. So in C++, even if you do work on the data and the unit testing, the SQL testing, I'd like to say we are able to make sure that we are able to inject the SQL environments and connect to the Azure SQL database. So inside that, we are able to write the test cases and also data access technologies for ODBC, etc. Right. So we are able to make sure that we are having a connection string and then adding that IP to the firewall. So from the connection to C++ application, we are able to also connect to the Linux application and key server and adding them on the specific data environment. I'd like to say that so. And then we are able to, sorry.
Sorry to interrupt you, SK. It's just that maybe I didn't phrase my question very well. I would love to learn a little bit on how was your experience converting this more old school C-like code to a more modern C++ code that you mentioned.
Not
about the product itself, but really maybe an experience with a smart pointer, from malloc to new, or anything like as a developer. What your take on that experience?
So what we used to do basically is we're actually migrating and modernizing the legacy code for the project, which is actually having a lot of errors, and also for specific kind, like I would say some spaghetti code, something like that, and we had a lot of errors. So basically, we are using standard libraries and functions that became part of the standard library, and also instead of using external libraries, we are making the code easy to maintain and developers to the compiled versions. We are also able to work two good options. So how would I say that? Means for specific feature and bug fixes with the LLVM, and additionally we had also the versions of BX and also the GNU ACC compiler support, which added on the OS. Yeah.
Okay, so you use LLVM. So you're using POSIX and you needed to migrate to Windows?
Yeah. What is that? Sorry.
If I got it right, used LLVM.
Mm-hmm.
So my hint is, if you had to use LLVM, maybe you had a POSIX library that you needed to convert to run on Windows. Can you tell me more about the LLVM usage on your compilation process?
So let's just say we are using LLVM compiler. So in this case, we are able to work on compiled data with the errors. So why the LLVM compiler? We had open reliability, and we had like OpenC library which was added there. So once the main project was added to the debugger, then we are able to have some of the specific LLVM GCC suits, right? We also had the LLVM intermediate representation and say that we are able to make sure that we are having specific configuration and build the LLVM source. And as the LLVM in terms of validating and prefixing the directories inside that. So part from that is validating the LLVM based data points inside the JVM and then get them on the specific configuration.
On the JVM, you need the Java virtual machine? What is JVM on this context?
So, okay, you're talking about LLVM-based data points inside the JVM. Oh, so basically we had some integrations with the JVM, but then primarily work on the C routines in the interface inside the C library. So this is also used as fodder and functional interfaces with those identities. So it's mostly for that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm hijacking a lot here, Augusto. sorry, I hijacked the meeting. Let you, right? Go for it, Augusto.
No, I'm just following. No, that's good. It's good to get to that deep details. Yeah, I just wanted to know if you are used to working in big teams, like Diogo mentioned, 15 people working together, and if you're comfortable with that or not.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been my entire experience. I've been working on different set of teams actually. So we're almost working with 100 people across environments. I would like to say so. And in HP, I was working for 5 members initially. They got this. I don't know how HP does this. They split teams every year, I guess, right? So they make the 5-member team into three-member team. I was like, what's happening here? So that was done in during my time at HP. But when I was working the current teams, what I'm working on, they have a lot of members. So it's a group of means the current project. It's a group financial team which I'm working on. It's a group of 20 members actually. So they are like 6 developers and one architect assigned to our team. So I didn't get much chance to talk to him. He's always busy. And there is a lead and there is a BA, a couple of BAs and a couple of testers, something like that. That's I have experience working on a lot of team members, and also I worked on short teams. So and also currently working remotely. So currently working remotely and yeah.
So you used to use GitHub, and are you also used to do like continuous integration and continuous deployment, or?
Yes, we are doing continuous integration and deployment using Jenkins, file-based Groovy pipeline, and also work on shared libraries to integrate with C++ test cases.
Yeah, and it's very important for us to make sure that we have a clear conversation between everyone, right? You have question, you go there, right, and say, oh, someone is busy, but you need to ask the question. So instead of you going and implementing their own of things, right? That's good that you have this experience. So I think we got the top of the hour here, right? That we've said.
Yeah, it's 1 hour actually.
That was fast.
So it was helpful to me. Do you have anything else?
No, I know we got to the top of the hour and you maybe leave, Augusto. I didn't notice the time passed so fast. So SK, if you want to ask questions, I'm okay on staying like 5 more minutes at least to give you the forum. It's up to you. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, actually, this was scheduled for 1 hour initially. I'm not sure.
Oh, really? Also, maybe they mess up in our calendar.
Okay, yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, I have a few questions. Like, I just want to know, like, what's the team size and you said you already said that you are working with 15 developers on the team, right? I'm not sure if that's the case. So I just want to know what will be the day-to-day activities. So is it agile or waterfall right now? I don't think anyone is working on waterfall.
So it is agile. There is harder teams still working sometime on waterfall, on HP, Intel, and others, right? But we are using agile. We are using Jira to track majority of tickets and integrate with other teams. We have the rituals. We're not going heavy on all the ceremonies for agile, but we have our daily stand-ups, which we respect a lot. To give you a concrete example on how we are at least going well, we have on our stand-up, we have 15 folks joining, and we keep it to half an hour, 45 minutes max. So with the classic journey, so we're going well on that sense. We have epics well structured already, as we mentioned on the stage, right? We are very close to providing our first release out of the door. So you see that Jira has epics that are well structured and organized with a description. User stories, though, I'll say we are not in a perfect scenario. We have quite a bit of user stories sometimes get added inside a cycle. So we have some dynamic going on, but that is also not uncommon, at least on my experience with agile-related products, right? We have a set of features that are very well understood, documented, and measurable. I'll put it this way. But then we have covered, and then just hinting to what Augusto mentioned, right? Then we have a set of features which are still under discussion. And that's what this role entertain, right? It's really talk, okay, we have this problem. We know a date. We need this fixed, right? What is the best way to get there?
Okay. So how does this work actually? Means like so let's say there is a story. So I just want to know this. I ask this every interview. I take because I want to get this information. So who does size the story actually in the team? So does the architect or
No, only the engineer that is going to work on it can size it. Sometimes the Scrum Master and then leadership that is looking at Jira, depending on how hot a feature is, right? They don't want to have epic with known group at all user stories. So it's not uncommon, for example, for Augusto and I, with the head of an architect, to give a ballpark guess. But the moment that the engineer takes that, that is totally ignorable. Totally. I already went on meetings that I said 3. And the user story point out of the meeting for the same user story was 8, and I didn't complain at all. There's no problem.
It's like that because that's what I'm seeing in my current environment. Like the story has been estimated by my lead. Okay, it's like a 3-pointer story. It's like means I don't know. It means we take like a 3-pointer story as it's like 5 days, something like that. So for that. Okay. So later when we realized it's getting like, okay, this is complicated and we're not going to make it in these 5 days. It's going to take a sprint because we haven't calculated the amount of testing that needs to be done and the amount of other dependencies which we need to add from the other teams, actually, something like that. Then they are coming to say that you need to estimate it before that. I am not aware of the code base entirely, so I can't say that, okay, I can take a 3-pointer and make it 5 and something like that, right? So yeah, initially it will take some time to estimate because we don't understand the code base immediately, right? It takes some time to understand the code base, what's happening, and understand the product, right? So that's what I want to do. So once that phase has been completed, then definitely it's like what you said, like, okay, as a developer, okay, it doesn't take more than 3 days, okay, it's done, I will do it in 3 days, something like that. Yeah. So and what would be the expectations actually you're expecting? So just to complete the features or
just to complete. So as we mentioned, it's not only a completion of features per se. Of course, Augusto, go for it. I know you have. I also.
Yeah, nice talking to you, Augusto. Nice talking to you.
Yeah. So when it comes to completing features, that's not exactly the mindset for it. As I mentioned, we have some user stories. We have some amount of work that is very well known, documented. Concrete example, WMI. Oh, we want to expose processor information data from the system. How can we do it? Directly with COM API XBC or via COM WMI this way. The WMI class will be system, right, underscore 32, blah, 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 the name of the WMI class, link to MSDN. Here's the link. That is well documented. Any software engineer can go look at it and, oh, that's what I'm coding, right? There's samples on the documentation. There is this is not the goal for this role. The goal of this role is, oh, you know what? We need to receive power awareness changes. But since Windows 10, we have the soft reboot, right? Which is kind of fake. So it's not a real S1, S2, or S3. We have the half S4, S5 business. So power notification is not getting us all the events we want. WM, L params, we are getting confused. What is the best way for us to guarantee we can respect S3 and S4 in a timely fashion? What is a timely fashion? We need to go and look again the Microsoft official documentation. OEM, original equipment manufacturer, needs to do it in less than 3 seconds. You see my point? So the engineer needs to go after some documentation, needs to close the gaps on the full story. That's the difference. I'll put it this way. That's why I mentioned there is some research involved. There is some, right?
Yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Sure. Just want to get that. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for that.
Yeah, of course. Okay, awesome. So I'm not sure what is the confusion that happened, but let me anyway apologize kind of in name of HP here. Yes, you were expecting that they invite to be 1 hour. It really got only 30 minutes for us. But Augusto and I will be in the meeting, okay? And then we'll be talking with the manager. It was Brittany, right? That schedule. So Augusto and I should be meeting the next 48 hours. And then the process usually is that we communicate feedback to Brittany, and then Brittany has a time period to come back to you. But I don't expect to take more than 1 week, meaning 5 business days for you to get an update from us, okay?
Okay, sure, definitely. So, yeah. So, do you think there will be any further rounds, or do you have any idea about it? Or?
Oh, I don't. So usually there will be, but I don't think on this case with the urgency, right, of the project, we are already so close to the release.
Okay.
That this is already kind of an ad hoc entry because an engineer left the team. Okay. So it was not like following the common peaceful, right, approaches on this start. So I think this will be expedited. I don't think that's going to be.
Okay, sure, definitely. Sure. Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.